After years of service to the broadcast industry, it's only right for the pioneer Director General of the Nigeria Television Authority, Engineer Vincent Maduka, to write a detailed memoir on his years of service. His memoir, titled Real Life, My Years Managing Public Service Television, chronicles the history of public broadcasting service in Africa from a Nigerian perspective, based on the working and personal account of the author, Engineer Vincent Maduka. Real Life is all about Nigeria's broadcasting history, bold and transparent public leadership, governance and finance of a public organization, and television content as a tool for forging national unity and a catalyst for national mass mobilization and social change. Joining us on this show this morning as we discuss his memoir and share his experience as veteran broadcaster is Engineer Vincent Maduka, the first Director General of the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. Welcome to the morning show, sir.
Thank you very much.
First, sir, let me congratulate you on writing this. This is a book to have been a major omission if it was not written. And for you to find a time, to document your experience, it's a great achievement. Congratulations. And it's very well produced, and also very well presented, very well written also, But let me ask you, you've been in this business, you've seen it all from the first television station in Nigeria to date, 1959 to date. What has changed? When you look back, when you reflect, what do you think of the standards over the years, and particularly of where we are today with broadcasting, particularly public service television?
Well, the times have changed, that's one. The individual has to make up his mind, really, what he's doing this for. Then, and come back to the question of the times having changed. If I lost my job as DG NTA, I'll probably get another job. I might get another job. And so I was emboldened to try and do what I felt was the right thing from my point of view. But the question is that the same for other people today? I mean, a boss says, I'll send you packing, I'll fire you. Then you get back home, you have a wife and 4 kids, and you live in government quarters or in the employer's house. So you are bound to take another look at his instruction and see how you can meet him halfway. But in our time, I had precedents. I mean, people left broadcasting and got bigger jobs from the point of view of pay. I didn't intend to go into another paid employment if I had to leave, except that I used to make the joke that if you fired me, I would go to Yaba Polytechnic. But it was only a joke because I'm an engineer, and Yaba was still government, and they would stop me working there if they wanted to. But I never thought that if I lost my job, I would never find another job. And I find that most people who are hanging on, come what may, as they say, is probably because they have a wife and 4 kids to look after.
So you think
excuses for them.
You think the standards have dropped because people
inevitably they have dropped. One is that there is now a large number of television organizations. In this book, I was trying to prevent Lagos State starting their own television station. And it was misconstrued that I was trying to keep a monopoly for the federal government. And the argument I had was that there were so few people who were trained and who were working at the right pitch at that time. And if somebody had started another station, they'll take people away from what we're trying to build, and we'll be back to a very sparsely populated organization from the point of view of skills. I mean, you could have the numbers, but there might not be people who have the skills or who have the... it's more than skills. There's a passion in this broadcasting.
Okay, sir. I mean, it's an honor to have you here because you've seen it all. Like Dr. Vati said, you're 86, going to 87, I should think, from the book. And you've had over 50 years of experience. But one seminal moment that really stood out for me was when you created that idea that we should have interactions leading up to election. And I'll segue this into the election period we have. Verdict 79.
Yes.
The analytical election monitoring program on the NTA that you are seeing from every part. But all of a sudden, as you started, interest about the NPN interest, the UPN, and the program was finally shut down at the behest of the military government.
No, one station.
One station.
One station.
You get.
Yes.
And finally, because of that discrepancy, was what led to not only Lagos now, all the states of the UPN trying to get their own television stations. You talked about the story where you went to meet what's his name? Ambrose Ali,
yes,
you know,
yes.
and where you also went to meet Olabisi Onabanjo. And most of those stations still exist today because they were created around that 81, 82 era,
Yes.
just to be able to fight the monopoly. I mean, talk me through all of that experience and censorship. Because what happened then still happens now. We're still seen as biased no matter how balanced we are.
Well, first of all, broadcasting is a, how should I put it, it's a context for the mind of the people. And politicians are not going to let you, a journalist or a broadcaster, have a hold on the public which they don't have, or a bigger hold than they have. And so you are contesting with them for the minds of the public. And I reckon it's just going to go on like that. There are the old socialist countries where broadcasting was a tool of governance, right? And so for you to be the chief executive of a broadcasting or a newspaper outfit in the old socialist system or Soviet Russia, you have to be a member of the Politburo yourself. So you were part of those who are either oppressing the people or using media to hold them where the government wants them. So even in the British system, I read the memoir of Sir John Reed, where he and Winston Churchill were friends, but there was a strike of, I think, 1920s or thereabouts, and the BBC was trying to be objective, and Churchill said, you can't be my friend and be objective and support the strike. So it's an old thing. It's just a question of how mean people are. Churchill can't go around and sack. He didn't go around and sack.
But in your case, they threw you out and
exactly.
put you out of
That's what I call meanness. You didn't agree with Churchill, and you stood your ground at the BBC, and you got away with it. But it's not also entirely true. There was another DG. I have it there. Don't want to mention the name that comes to my mind now in case I'm wrong. And I was at the Commonwealth Broadcasting Conference where he gave the report. Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Woman, criticized the BBC for being balanced when Britain was at war in the Falkland Islands. And the DG BBC said to Margaret, and said, BBC and the DG were not loyal to Britain. And the DG BBC said to Margaret Thatcher to her face, Madam, there's nothing you can teach me about loyalty. Now, I related that in this book. You stand in front of a Nigerian head of state or head of government or local government council and tell him
what. A consultant during the deregulation of the telecommunications sector in Nigeria. Yes. You consulted for the federal government.
Yes.
And encouraged the idea of private broadcast stations and all that.
Yes.
And also the establishment of the Communications Commission, the NCC.
Yes.
When you look back now,
yes.
How do you think that has helped in this environment, considering the fact that we have such a proliferation of broadcast stations all over the place? Second, there was a part in this book where you were talking about television license fee, citing the example, I think, of Egypt.
Yes.
Okay. Will you still recommend that Nigerians should be paying a license fee for television today, or for the radio we listen to, when government officials are busy using public funds as they wish? Those two issues.
Yes, all right. One is that somebody has to pay for broadcasting. In a place like America, which is a high consumer country and capitalist, advertisers will come to you if you are popular. They won't come to you because they are very serious-minded, very educative and all that. They come to you because they want to reach your audience and they will advertise with you. We don't have enough money in the business world or in the advertising industry to support so many television stations as we have in this country. That's one. With regard to public service broadcasting, it has a virtue of its own. That is, you are not trying to make money. There's nothing wrong with making money. But making money is not your prime objective in public service broadcasting. In public service broadcasting, you are educating people, you are enlightening them, you are growing a national tradition and value system, whether you make money or not. And that's not to say that money is dirty, but your objective is the minds of the people for the good of the people. Now, so who pays for that? And when government is going to say, oh, this is not a good year, we don't have a lot of money, sack 2,000 people. As I said in that book, I had to go to church to pray. Because you're looking somebody in the eye, and he's not a bad man, and you're telling him, sorry, you go. In private broadcasting, where money is coming from commercial operations, you have money to support growth. I don't know whether I finished.
No, I wanted you to comment on deregulation of the telecom sector.
Deregulation in telecommunications, I think we were lucky because there was nothing to have stopped government hanging on to the mobile phone technology. In fact, government was going to run one station, one channel, and it never even took off. But we use the example of the UK, which was deregulating telecoms at about the same time. And the law of our telecoms regulator is almost entirely like that of the Australian telecoms organization when I was consulting. I was actually asked to come and be chief executive of the new organization. And I said, well, I'd had enough being chief executive to ministers, because that's what it is. He thinks you are just at his beck and call.
I quickly want to ask you, why is that partnerships hardly work in the media space? And I'll give you an instance. When WNTV started, it was a partnership between the Marconi Company and the Western Nigerian government.
Yes.
And Grenada International.
No, Radio Fusion.
And Radio Fusion, yeah, and Marconi.
Yes.
And there was another one that had a partnership with IT.
Northern Nigeria Broadcast.
Yes. Kaduna Station.
Why is it that after some time, those partners pulled out and partnership don't still work seamlessly till date? Because most media stations are full on ownership now.
I don't know why I don't know why they went for partnership, but I think largely because it was a new technology, it was a new enterprise in terms of what we've done in Nigeria before. And so they were trying to work with somebody who'd done this thing before. But really, from the point of view of commercial operation, television in Nigeria was not viable at all. I mean, how are you going to, what equity, or rather, what dividends would those people get from running television in those days? We barely made 10, 15% from revenue in our expenditure bill. So it was not supposed to be a commercial thing. And either they did not look at it properly, or they had in their contract, which I am not aware of, how to pay those people for their services, even if the company wasn't making a profit.
Anyway, once again, sir, I would like to thank you very much and congratulate you. I have no doubts that this will be very good compulsory reading material for students of the sociology of communications in Nigeria and Africa, and also, for scholars of the subject. You've done very well, writing this. Congratulations.